Every major global climate record was broken last year, the World Meteorological Organization said on Tuesday, with rising temperatures and shrinking sea ice, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres.
Earth is issuing a distress call. The latest State of the Global Climate Report shows a planet on the brink.
The UN Weather Agency said in its annual State of the Global Climate Report that average temperatures hit the highest level in 174 years of record-keeping by a clear margin. Hong Kong lawmakers on Tuesday unanimously passed a new national security bill, fast-tracking a major piece of legislation critics say further threatens the China-ruled city's freedoms. Reuters correspondent Olivia Chan reports.
Critics, including the U.S. government, say this major piece of legislation further threatens the China-ruled city's freedom and could be used to eliminate dissent through the fear of arrest and detention. The package, known as Article 23, punishes offences including treason, sabotage, sedition, the theft of state secrets, external interference, and espionage. Sentences range from several years to life imprisonment. The assembly once had a strong pro-democracy camp, but was overhauled in 2021 to ensure only Chinese patriots could run for public office. The legislation will come into effect on March 23rd.
Reuters correspondent Olivia Chan. Tensions surged as Hamas's chief accused Israel on Tuesday of sabotaging talks for a Gaza truce after it raided the devastated Palestinian territory's largest hospital for a second time. Hamas is a U.S. designated terrorist group. This is VOA News. South Africa's top diplomat on Tuesday accused Israel of setting a precedent for leaders to defy the top UN court as she again alleged a campaign of starvation in Gaza. South Africa has hauled Israel before the International Court of Justice to allege genocide in the war triggered by the October 7th Hamas attack, infuriating Israel and drawing U.S. criticism. There's a migrant crisis in New York City that began nearly 2 years ago with an influx of Venezuelans and other Latin Americans and has seen a tripling in the number of migrants from West African nations in the past year alone. Aaron Rainin reports from New York City.
In the New York neighborhood of Harlem, a group of West African migrants comes together at a nearby restaurant to relish traditional African dishes. Mamadou came from Senegal. He asked to withhold his last name while his migration status is pending. He says he went from Morocco to Spain to El Salvador to Nicaragua to Mexico. He says traffickers along the way would put a gun to migrants' heads demanding money. If you don't have money, they take everything from you. It's very difficult, he says. These migrants also find themselves caught up in the political landscape, especially with former President Donald Trump's aggressive stance against migrants who have come to the U.S. illegally. Aaron Rainin, VOA News, New York City.
Brazil's former president has been criminally charged in his home country. AP correspondent Charles de Ledesma reports.
Former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has been formally accused of falsifying his COVID-19 vaccination data, marking the first indictment for the embattled far-right leader, with more allegations potentially in store. The federal police indictment, released by the Supreme Court, alleges Bolsonaro and 16 others inserted false information into a public health database to make it appear as though the then president, his 12-year-old daughter and several others in his circle had received the COVID-19 vaccine. Police detective Fabio Alvarez-Shaw, who signed the indictment, says in his report that Bolsonaro and his aides changed their vaccination records in order to cheat health restrictions. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The U.S. Supreme Court lifted its hold Tuesday on a controversial Texas law that would allow state police to arrest and deport migrants who cross illegally into the United States from Mexico. The move by the conservative majority court allows the law to take effect while legal challenges play out in lower courts. The administration of Democratic President Joe Biden has strongly opposed it, arguing the federal government has authority over immigration matters, not individual states.
Thank you for watching. Can you do me a favor? Please leave a comment in the comment section below. That would really help. Thank you, and see you again soon.